Ms. Yeo Wan Ling.
Madam Deputy Speaker, it's in the middle of the afternoon and you suddenly receive a call from a long-lost bro who strangely asks you to remember his name and needs a quick loan of $500 from you. Or perhaps you receive a text from a private number promising you your dream job without you needing to really put in any effort for a disproportionately dreamy salary. Madam, I am sure many in this chamber and beyond have experienced such similar scam scenarios, given the multitude of channels and methods that are digitally available to innocent victims, citizens, and pernicious actors alike. Most worryingly, more Singaporeans are falling prey to such scams, and national statistics aside, on a local level, I've seen a stark increase of residents coming to see me at MPS on scam matters. Some devastated, seeking justice for monies and life savings loss, some seething, seeking redress for loved ones who have been found guilty of being involved in scams. Dealing with scams present a set of distinct and novel challenges for law enforcement. To navigate and patrol the digital space while ensuring freedoms and privacy of our citizens will be a perennial balancing act. To heavily monitor and limit online interaction presents not only an ethical conundrum of over-policing, but also an operational problem given the rapidly changing techniques and technology that is used by scammers. Yet, we cannot allow for the present situation to persist and scammers to exploit the identified loopholes in our current legal system. Therefore, the latest amendments to the two bills have sought to redress the reach of the law enforcement by encouraging online vigilance and responsible behavior regarding the use of bank accounts and Singpass details. These are which information that was identified to have been critical in facilitating the perpetration of scams and other similar offences. While I support the intention and aim of these amendments, I cannot help but consider the potential repercussions of placing significant onus on individuals to take responsibility for how they dispense and share their personal data online, especially in the ever-evolving situation of scams. In an age where there is an ever-growing digitalization of iBanking and government services that require the use of bank accounts and Singpass details, we have to be mindful of how this bill may implicate those who, in our society, are not tech natives, particularly our senior citizens and persons with special needs and mental disabilities. Scams today are no longer overt, blatant advertisements which are easily recognizable, but they reach us in a host of ways that can appear subtle and very genuine. Scams get to the best of us. Just last evening, after MPS, one of my volunteers, a smart, savvy individual in his 40s, sheepishly admitted to me that he was a phishing scam victim last year, having inadvertently given his OTP to a fake delivery site. Indeed, by transferring the responsibility of online vigilance onto our senior citizens or our less digitally inclined, it presents a twofold problem. Firstly, for senior citizens who attempt but struggle to navigate these online services and fall prey to scams, they now possibly have no clear and simple path of redress should they be found to willingly have shared their information online or with their loved ones. For such seniors, they not only suffer financial loss as victims of scams, but are re-victimized by their failed attempt to utilize digital services. Secondly, because this bill potentially leaves the digitally illiterate with less protection and more risk, I fear that this may only serve to provide greater inertia for our senior citizens who view our online spaces with skepticism, fostering a sense of digital alienation that we as a nation have worked hard to bridge. Furthermore, by shifting the onus onto the individual, I fear the impact it may have on vulnerable communities, such as adults with special needs. Many such adults currently have no right to create a bank account, and this new amendment will only serve to set back the timeline for financial inclusion. If one struggles with managing sensitive data on a day-to-day basis, doing so in the complex digital sphere without empathetic safeguards can only be exponentially more difficult. A conversation with a resident in my constituency highlighted the struggles her stepson faces as an adult with special needs. Without the right to create a bank account, the family faced much difficulty in receiving monies due to him via his father's will when his father passed on. As the world becomes ever more dependent on digital services for daily functions, we must continue to consider what byproducts our laws may have on those on the fringes of society and ensure that we do not systematically inhibit the access to the life they desire. In the spirit of Forward Singapore, I believe that this bill is best served with supplementary safeguards and policies to ensure our vulnerable communities are not inadvertently affected. We must continue to provide and amplify present digital literacy initiatives for seniors and other vulnerables of our community who face difficulty dealing with the growing digitization of government and banking services. Furthermore, given the ever-evolving nature of scams, we need to keep on our toes and feed our communities through digital ambassadors and other agency representatives active in our local community. I call on the ministry as we enhance our crime enforcement safety nets to also augment this with community reach-out efforts to provide timely and up-to-date scam advisories, enabling our communities to develop long-term know-how on identifying and reacting to scams. Yet the government should not be the sole stakeholder to ameliorate the potential gaps. Banks and other digital platforms can do more to provide additional protection for our vulnerables. Creating sandboxes to experiment with new solutions, such as increased levels of authentication, or the tailoring of experiences suitable to certain age groups or demographics, may be the first step towards mitigating the exposure to scams and providing financial inclusion. What are the ministry's plans in involving more stakeholders, especially our businesses, in our endeavor to scam awareness and protections? As we address the present lapses in our efforts to combat scams, I hope that we do not lose sight of the potential effects this new bill can have on our tech vulnerables. We have to be cognizant of the implications in placing greater responsibility on our individuals to navigate the digital world and seek to provide, to support and aid and ensure that we do not leave vulnerable groups to greater risk and alienation. These concerns notwithstanding, I support the bill. Thank you.